Discord, so I don't know how this is gonna go.
If you bring up, you can actually, um, Shadow, you can still get into Restream. I don't have you like put in like all of you can still get into Restream if you use the link,
Yeah.
and then you should be able to still go live without me having to like actually put your box in.
Yeah, but I'm technically in the restream right now, but when I sat there and tried to show it up on my Streamlabs, it wasn't showing the actual thing. It was showing just the invite box for some reason.
Okay.
Mm.
Oh, all right. I got the countdown for 5 minutes, so give you all a little bit of time. Let people get in here. All right, you
Yeah.
guys ready?
Yep, I'm
All
already
right.
I'm live right now.
That's not it.
Oh, good old Harmon Smith. How are you?
This is Sandstorm.
There we go. There we go.
Oh.
That was the problem. The problem was there. That's what it was.
Oh. And what did you do?
I was like, wait a minute, what happened? What happened? What was the problem?
I have
What is
no
going
idea.
on, ladies and gentlemen? Hopefully everyone can hear us. Mic check. Hello? Hello? Can y'all hear
Yep.
us? Hello?
I can hear you. I don't know about Shadow.
Shadow, you good?
When I stepped in the game.
All right, there we go. I can hear you.
All right. Can you hear it on the YouTube? Everybody on YouTube, can y'all hear? Hello? Hello?
I really hope they can.
Storm, no one can hear you.
Oh, no.
Don't Discord thing.
Okay. Prime said, Hold on.
When I stepped in the game.
I mean, you guys. I can hear you. I can hear you on my channel.
Okay, Prime said he couldn't hear us. So, okay, Prime said no audio. Uh-oh.
No audio. Oh, I can hear you. Yeah, on my channel, they can hear you guys on my channel.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, everybody on my channel saying they can't hear.
Oh, that
Hold
sucks.
on. Hold on, everyone. Hold on. Hold your hats. Hold your hats.
You stand by.
We're gonna get this.
I'm actually surprised on my live stream someone actually made it to mine. One of my biggest haters.
Let's do it. Let's do it this way. We couldn't get. We had troubles with audio on Restream, so we are going to do it just like this.
Yeah,
Yes.
someone.
You
Yeah,
all
someone.
are going to see
Someone.
everything. Now, can you hear everything? Can you hear me? And hopefully I don't sound like double.
No, some people are saying. I hear myself talking. Talking back to me.
Let's see.
They literally make it fresh.
Yeah, someone.
Okay, so Vigilante, I can hear you.
Yeah, yeah. But I hear myself.
Some
talking
people
back to.
are saying,
But I can't hear me now. Okay. Let's see here. Shadow, you say something. Let me see if I can hear you.
Hopefully this does not echo.
Alright. So that's what I said.
Hopefully
It's
not-
possible
not
to
echo.
hosting this stuff.
Yeah, that's weird. So we can hear you, Vigilante, but we can't hear us.
Oh, I hear myself. Talking.
Hold on. Let's see. So everybody can hear Vigilante, but not me or Shadow. Okay. So everybody can probably hear. So Shadow, did you maybe
One thing I did was join Discord because I tried to restream. It just kind of like it kind of represents what you already had. So
Send them the link. Tell them to click on it. Discord call.
Primey, calm down. Calm down.
Prime said, just send him the link. Okay, hold on.
I think I did was join Discord because
Oh, so I can hear you now, Shadow.
you can still hear me. They hear me though.
Yeah, that was through my phone, so I can hear you
Okay.
through Prime's.
Yeah, but it's just an
Jackson,
echo. It's just an
Jackson.
echo.
I can hear Shadowfax and AVS, but not Sandstorm. So I'm the one out.
That's
I'm
strange.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you all hear me?
Yeah, but it's so distorted.
Okay. Maybe if I move this. Now, can you hear me?
A little better.
That's strange.
But I still hear an echo.
How about
If any of you guys are talking, I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
They're saying they can hear us.
okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. But I hear myself talking back to me.
Okay. I think that's probably part of the screen share that I have. Hmm. Yeah, there's not really a best case solution for this unless we all do.
What was the issue? What was the mic issue you were having, Vigilante?
It wasn't letting me use it.
Yeah, it wouldn't even come up.
Mm-hmm. Technical issues. It happens.
All right, can y'all hear me on my side now? Because everybody can hear you two, but you can't hear me. We good? We good?
Prime just said he can't hear you.
Okay. Prime, you can. Oh, he can't hear me. Duh.
If you can hear Sandstorm, type one in the chat.
So Stash says audio sounds fine on his TV. How does that work?
I have no idea.
Let me try to see if I can create another.
Let me check my audio. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Okay. Can you hear me? Let me send. Okay, so Prime can hear me. So, can everybody hear Vigilante?
Yeah, I can hear myself talking back to me also.
Okay, and can everybody hear Shadow?
I think he switched his microphone to his laptop.
Shadow. I hear you on another screen.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yep. Okay, so everybody hears everybody. We've been heard now. All right, we're starting this all the way over. We're starting back at 5 minutes. We'll see you in 5 minutes. I'm just kidding. We're not. What's up, everybody? Thank you for coming through, and thank you for sitting with us through all the technical difficulties. We are finally in here. Hooray, hooray, hooray. All right, y'all know what time it is. This is matchup. We've been waiting all week since last week for this. Huge. I want to first say thank you to both Vigilante and Shadowfox for coming through and doing this. This is going to be an absolute great time. Before we get into it, we have to read off the rules. I know everybody doesn't have Twitter, so they won't be able to know exactly what's going on with the rules. So, first things first. Rule number one. No personal attacks, including but not limited to swearing or discussing one's family or lifestyle. Rule number two. Allow the other to speak without interruption. We want to hear each competitor be heard and understood. Rule number three. The links will be allowed. Now that we have technical difficulties, I don't know how that's going to figure out. So if you have links, you're more than welcome to throw them out if you're able to. If not, that's okay. and should be presented to the audience so they can view and understand where and what the individual is talking about. Rule number 4, there will be no time limit for each round, but there will be a total of 5 rounds for each subject. After both subjects are done, there will be a Q&A session, possibly 10 questions. That's where we're going to put it at the max. So if any of you guys have questions for our 2 debaters, make sure that you throw those questions out towards the end so we don't have to scroll all the way up, because there is a lot of people watching. We want to kind of hone down on where the questions are coming from. Rule number 5. A poll will be placed early in the video so viewers can vote for the person that they side with. There will be 2 polls, one for YouTube, which is on the Sandstorm Rebirth channel, that will go up. It looks like Prime also has one for his channel as well. If you want to vote, I will check over there as well. And one for Twitter as well. At the end, we will announce the polls. And those are the rules. The last little part's not important. So with that being said, we have our 2 competitors here, starting off with the first person, Angry Vigilante. How you doing, man?
I'm doing very good. Just to let you guys know, I got to take my headset off when I start talking, or I'm going to hear myself talk back to me. I'm doing pretty good. I'm the Angry Vigilante. I do salt content on Salty Fanboys on YouTube.
Fair. Thank you, Prime. Yeah, I appreciate that. Good luck. Prime is low-key mentoring me. And then we got my guy from the Winging It Podcast, Shadow Fox Infinite. How you doing, man?
I'm stepping in the game all the way back from the end of days. You know who it is.
All right. So this one is going to be a fight for the ages. No low blows. No biting of the ears. We want a nice, clean fight, gentlemen. Is that understood?
Yep.
Clear.
All right. I am going to flip a coin here. We do have 2 topics. We're going to flip a coin to see who goes first. Vigilante, since you are the newest guest, we'll allow you to pick heads or tails.
Tails.
All right, and it came up. That's an ugly piece, but it came up heads. Shadow. Would you like to go first or second?
I'll go second still.
All right. So our first topic of the night is going to be a very good one. It is the Switch 2 a 10th generation console?
You want me to start?
Yeah.
Oh, I was waiting for you to tell me to go.
And here we go.
All right, yeah. So I believe that the Switch 2 feels like a Switch Pro over an actual Switch 2 because after you open the box up, it looks very similar to a Switch 1. The packaging is very similar to a Switch 1. And also when you start it up, the startup screen is almost virtually identical to the Switch 1. Also, the UI is very similar to the Switch 1. And then after you dive into Mario Kart World, it literally makes you forget you're even playing on a next-gen console. Graphically, it looks like almost identical to what Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is. And that's why I believe it's more of a Switch Pro than an actual Switch 2. I passed my turn.
Shadow?
Okay. So, am I gonna talk about it? I guess I just need to piece out first, and then we'll do the back and forth. I guess, right? Let me do my thing first.
Sure.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your intro. Yeah.
All right. Just standard definitions, right? So me and Webster talks about what generations are, and they're defined by succession and time. So when there's a new product, whatever that new product is the next generation of that product. Whether it's from the same vendor or another vendor, they compete together for that time period. Once that time period elapses, another generation is started as soon as another competitor comes out with a new product. If there's a supersonic jet, the next generation of the supersonic jet, they don't just magically start making two of the same type of jet. It's the next generation of that same jet, and they don't wait for another person to say, hey, look, I'm making another generation of jet. Whoever the other vendor is, they make their next generation of it, and another person makes their next generation. Same thing with cars. Every other product there is no demand. So we leave the logical part and leave the how can I say this textbook definition of it, and it still starts talking about some of the things that are known locally within gaming, right? So you talk about console generations. Nintendo is allowed to start them. People, this is really weird and it bothers people for some reason, but Wii U started the 8th generation. There's still people that don't want to concede that. Switch therefore started the 9th generation. And the reason it started the 9th generation is because it was the successor to Wii U. And Nintendo didn't release 8th generation console. They specifically said that NX was the successor to Wii U. Not 3DS, not anything else. It was the welcome to the next generation of Nintendo. This is NX. That became the Nintendo Switch. That started the 9th generation. Sony and Microsoft came a little bit late after that in 2020 for all kinds of reasons, for money and stuff going all the way back to the 7th generation. But obviously they had to start this generation for some reason. Nintendo didn't have to do that. So now they've had their longest generation with the Switch, and obviously its successor, Switch 2 or whatever it's named, is that next generation platform. Successor to the 9th generation platform is a 10th generation platform. I know it sounds weird, and Nintendo can't start generations, but they did three times in a row. Wii U, Switch, and Switch 2. Sony and Microsoft were late to the generation in 2020, and they're going to be late now in 2026 and 2027 in the 10th generation.
Vigilante?
Okay, just so everybody, I barely could understand what Shadow said because of how bad the echo is on his mic. Is there any way, Sandstorm, that you can give me like a recap of what he said?
Can you hear me just fine?
Yeah.
Okay, because I have it muted on the other side. So he was basically saying that the Switch is a 10th generation console because, the original Switch is a 10th generation console because despite what people think, the Wii U was an 8th generation console and the Switch was not a mid-generation refresh. I'll keep it as simple as that.
Okay.
I want to give him a long verbatim.
Yeah, I talked about the textbook definition. That was a little bit different. Succession in time.
Yeah, he gave the textbook definition as well.
Okay. All right, so I'm not denying that Nintendo is calling it the 10th gen. I've already conceded that before, but I'm just saying that it feels like a Switch Pro because of the reasons that I sat there and said. Now, I know that the Wii U was the 8th gen. I know that the Switch was the 9th gen. That's actually the first time I've ever heard of people saying that the Switch was a Pro over the Wii U.
So this is gonna be a little difficult when I talk if it's an echo. I don't know how we're gonna. Vigilante, can you hear me at all, or is it just all mumble to you?
I can hear you, but hold on. I can hear you, but it's like right after you talk, like another second, it like re-echoes and says everything you said all over again. So it kind of like almost mumbles together.
Okay. All right. So we'll try to do point by point. I'll try to do it as slow as possible. So everybody else can hear. But Vigilante, you made a point regarding it feels the same. I'm not going to argue opinions here, but I will say you have to look at not even history, just recent history. Microsoft made all their UIs look exactly the same. And I'm fairly certain that the Xbox One and the Series X and Series X are not in the same generation. That much I will say. And I'll give you time because there's no if I'm ever like that you won't have a chance to reply. You won't be able to hear anything. So Samsung, did you hear that? How are you able to?
I got it.
Okay. But that was my counter to the first point you made about the UI.
Okay, so are you? It was kind of hard to understand. Are you saying that the UI from the Xbox One to the Series X looks the same, or was that what you're trying to say?
Basically, the UI has pretty much not changed, but we still fairly understand that there is a difference between the two generations of systems.
Yeah, well, I've never played an Xbox One, Xbox Series X. I'm a PlayStation and Nintendo person, but from what I remember, both of the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X actually does visually look different. You can tell one is different than the other when it comes to a console.
That might have been true. That might have been true in 2013, but right before the Series S and the Series X launched, Microsoft revamped the UI again for the Xbox One. They are almost identical.
Yes, I'm talking about when you visually look at the consoles, though. They look completely different. You can tell one is different than the other. Maybe the UI might be the same, but it doesn't.
Okay. I get what you're saying. You're saying the shell is different than the actual console that you're holding.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. I'm not going to disagree with that. It's just, the Switch looks like a very much bigger Switch, but okay.
Slightly bigger.
Very much bigger. You held them side by side, right?
No, I have not.
It's unmistakable once you have them side by side next to each other. It's the screen itself is as big as the entire Switch controllers together.
Yeah, it's like less than an inch bigger.
It's more than an inch. You got an inch on the side for the Joy-Con themselves. It's a pretty big difference. I have a video I'll upload anyway with my unboxing, but everybody's seen enough unboxing to know. It's a pretty big difference between those two. The box it does not tell what it looks like once you open it. I don't know what the other point was. I missed the other point. You said UI. You mentioned something about the graphics. What about the graphics?
Mario Kart World does not look much different than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe graphically. When it comes to a launch title, it's supposed to sit there and showcase what the power of a new console can do, and they did not pick the correct title to do that. That's another reason why it feels like a Switch Pro over a Switch 2.
What do you mean by graphic and there's no difference?
Mario Kart World just looks slightly graphically better than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It does not look dramatically better like you would get with a next-gen console.
Okay. Could you elaborate a little bit more? Is there an example or something? I'm trying to figure out exactly what you mean by that.
Well, yes, when you look at Donkey Kong Bonanza, for instance, like when they put the attention to detail with that trailer, like how the graphically looks in the game, it looks graphically better than any of the Switch 1 first-party titles that I've ever seen. Mario Kart World does not look like it's graphically better, like a dramatic graphically better than the other Switch 1 first-party titles.
What makes you think Donkey Kong Bonanza does that and Mario Kart World does not?
By visually looking at it from the trailer.
What are you seeing?
The detail in the fur, the detail in the eyes, the detail in the surrounding. It just looks graphically detailed better than Mario Kart World.
So this is more of an aesthetic thing. So you think that there's more detail there based on what you're seeing there? I guess animations, things like that.
Yeah, according to the direct.
Okay. How much attention did you pay to the Mario Kart World footage that is available right now?
Well, I played Mario Kart World.
Okay. And you've played Mario Kart 8 and 8 Deluxe, I'm going to assume as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you seen the difference in animation and physics and stuff that's happening just on the carts alone?
I don't think that's that much of a difference.
You might want to because there's a dramatic difference. The weight distribution, everything, how the light refracts off of the objects, all of that stuff has been overhauled. If you look at it, if you actually look at the difference between that and Mario Kart 8 side by side, it's a 9-day difference.
I have.
There's sides out there. You can look at it. It's pretty drastic. And the big thing would be it's all open world. They xenobladed this game, which is that's one of my takes at this point. Which is not something that would typically happen on Switch to begin with anyway, unless it was Microsoft doing it, and it definitely would not be at the scale, and it definitely would not be at the high resolution that it's at right now. I believe it's 1440 in some cases, whatever. But it's obviously an extremely high resolution game with high resolution textures, and that's definitely not something that would be considered in the realm of what Switch would be capable of doing without severe limitations. Like I say, impact RAM or anything else. Because Switch is more feel rate limited on RAM than it is anything else, and then after that, it's CPU. And I mean, there's just a 9-day difference. So I would say instantly, as soon as you play Mario Kart, you understand why it is not Mario Kart 8. It is a completely different game. I mean, feel free to disagree, but based on the reasoning that you're giving me, I can't connect them together as them being a consistent flow of thought. Like for the same reasons that you would say Donkey Kong Bonanza is looking better because there's more detail, brand new characters, stuff like that. I would say the same for Mario Kart World. Not only are there more characters on screen at one time, there's 24 races at one time in addition to that. So that's more CPU and GPU intensive. It's also more network intensive as well. And the system seems to have no trouble holding that up. So I don't know if that was too much because of the feedback, but I hope you got the gist of it.
All right, I'll try to remember everything you said and talk on them. Now, I still disagree. I don't look at Mario Kart World and look at Mario Kart 8 because I've sit there and seen them side by side like on YouTube, and I see a little bit of a graphical difference with Mario Kart World, but not enough to justify a new console. It doesn't look like it's next gen to me. Is there anything else I missed?
I guess my next follow-up question for that would be, what would make it next gen?
Well, I believe from what I've seen in the direct, Donkey Kong Bonanza does look graphically better than Mario Kart World. I think that might be next gen. We will have to wait and see if it plays as well or it looks as good on the console itself.
No, I mean specifically for Mario Kart World, what would it have to have for you to consider it to be next gen?
I just think it should look graphically better.
In what way? What are we talking about?
Visuals. It does not visually look graphically better. Well, it looks slightly graphically better than Mario Kart World or Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
No, I'm not trying to be confrontational. I'm really trying to understand what you're saying. This isn't me trying to go at you. I'm really trying to understand what you're just like nebulously saying graphics, and you're just nebulously saying the way that it looks. And I'm like, you gotta give some detail here. What exactly are we talking about? Is it lighting? Is it the resolution of the textures? Is it shadow volume? What are we talking about that needs to happen to make Mario Kart World appear more next gen to you?
I keep saying when you sit there and look at the graphics on the PS4, and then you go to the PS5, the PS5 graphics look better than the PS4. To me, and it looks like better than just slightly better. To me, when I look at Mario Kart World, graphically, it just doesn't look that much better than what Mario Kart 8 Deluxe looks.
I think I keep getting hung up on using graphically because you're making a tangible claim by using intangible term. You know what I mean? So if I say that something is valued more than the other, I have the math to pan that out. You're just saying graphically, and for all I know, that could just be your opinion. Just say it just looks better to me.
Well, yeah, of course.
I mean, I could say that about a PlayStation 5 game looking weaker than the Switch 2 game. That's not. That serves no substance at that point. That's just my opinion and what art style I like the most. You get what I'm saying?
Well, sure. This is completely my opinion. I can't prove. There's no way I can factually prove if it's a Switch 2 or if it's a Switch Pro. Well, you can technically prove it because Nintendo sits there and says that it's a Switch 2. This is purely my opinion here.
Yes, I'm asking what you're basing your opinion on. When you say graphically, what are you basing that on other than just I feel? Is there something that you see at all in particular that you describe, or is it just a gut feeling?
Well, it's what I see. When I sit there and saw from PS4 to the PS5, the graphics were better compared to the PS4. When I sit there and see Mario Kart World to Mario Kart 8, to me, it does not look graphically that much better than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
So we're obviously going to be an impasse on this because there's no way to even really have a discussion regarding that. Because I could just say that this is the best looking game I've ever seen in my life. And the PS6 will drop tomorrow, and I'm going to say that looks last gen because Mario Kart World is better than it in my opinion. It's just kind of, I don't know. That's kind of disingenuous to me because I think you understand why I'm going with this. It's not. You have to be able to tie it to some type of internal value that you have to say why it looks the way that it does. It's not just, hey, this is the PS4 and the PS5 looks way better. There's a reason why. There's stuff that you see. There's global illumination. There's more detailed textures. There's more detailed character models, cloth physics, things like that you saw to make that determination. And you're not really saying that. And that's where I'm kind of drawing line here. So I don't know, but I would just say this specifically based on the graphics that you're saying right there. We'll table that. As far as the console being 10th generation or not, there's really no debate on that. I mean, you know physically what Nintendo is, so it is a 10th generation console, and Nintendo can start generations. 3 in a row apparently.
Okay, I've never denied that the other two weren't a generation. So I mean, this was supposed to be like a peer opinion. You know, I didn't pick the topics, so I thought this was supposed to be an opinion debate.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. But I would never argue an opinion. I guess that's the other thing too. You just say, hey, look, that's just how I feel. I would be wrong in trying to engage because I'm not going to persuade you to feel differently. My goal is to talk about facts and make sure there's no misconceptions going on here. And if that's how you feel, if you just look at that, you just say, hey, I feel like it's not next generation, and there's no way in the world that you're describing that, then I think I understand. I think I understand a lot of your channel now. I think I understand a lot of it. So I'm just gonna disagree on that off of that because there's no way I can't disprove how you feel. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, you know, I do completely agree that you really can't disprove an opinion like that. You know, but no one can sit there and prove. I've never seen any facts that actually prove that it's a Switch Pro and not a Switch 2. When people are sitting there saying that it feels like a Switch Pro, it's pure opinion, it's pure feeling here.
Yeah. I mean, and factually speaking, it would be the next generation platform. Typically, Nintendo doesn't do pros anyway. This is something that mainstream media, gaming press, and stuff like that have been trying to build into existence, and it never really happened. I think Nintendo probably listening right now. I know for a while, him and a couple other more popular YouTubers, they really think that Switch Pro was a thing. I think at some point there was a development kit that was training people to get ready, but it wasn't for a Switch Pro. Nintendo was always aiming for the next generation. This is for them to do hardware like that. It takes them a long time to work with NVIDIA to get SoCs and stuff like that cut up. So this is going all the way back to 2021, maybe 2020, back when the deal was officially announced behind the scenes. So this has been in ink for a long time. So I don't know. That's neither here nor there. But so did you have another counterpoint for the first topic? Because I think the only other reason that I had that we know switches bringing the 10th generation is because of how generations have been molded since the 7th generation and Wii and Xbox 360 and PS3 having to go back and copy what we did. So that kind of extended their generations. That kind of bled over into the 8th generation, 9th generation, extended those generations as well for Sony and Microsoft. Nintendo didn't have to do such a thing, so they stuck to their 4 to 6 years, and here we are. So I don't know. Did you have anything to counter that, or you're agreeing with that, right?
Can Sandstorm repeat the talking points, because it was very hard to understand you, Shadow.
Okay.
Yeah,
you heard what I said, right?
The last part.
Sandstorm.
Run it by me one more time.
So the last, I'm asking if he agrees about the 7th generation being stretched out for Sony and Microsoft. 7 and 8 generation being stretched out, and that's kind of where we are because Nintendo didn't have to.
He's basically asking, are you in agreement with the 7th generation being stretched out with Sony and Microsoft, and because of that, that's where we are today, because Nintendo never really had to stretch out their generation. The time during that generation, I should say.
I don't really understand. I don't really understand what he's trying to say. I don't understand the talking point really.
So basically, are you in agreement with the Nintendo pretty much starting each generation, the last 3 generations, 8th, 9th, and 10th generation?
Okay, yeah. The Wii was the 7th. The Wii U was the 8th generation. The Switch was the 9th, and technically the Switch 2 was the 10th. Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess we can move on at that point.
All right.
Unless he has any other closing arguments.
No, I said what I said. I gave my opinion.
Okay. Well then, ladies and gentlemen, we are on to the second topic. This one is quite juicy. This is a juicy one. The topic is, or the question is, are third-party publishers at fault for gaming key cards? Now we had Shadow said he allowed you to go first Vigilante. I will allow you to pick whether you're going to go first or second.
I'll go first.
Okay.
All right. Well, I believe that both are at fault technically, but ultimately it depends on the situation. When you have companies like we use Bravely Default and Tetris, when they have such a small game like that, and the only option is a 64 gigabyte cartridge and then the game key card, then ultimately that's Nintendo's fault, because Nintendo should give them more options of what sizes of cartridges. Now, if a company's coming out with like a 50 or 60 gig and they choose to put it on a game key card, that is ultimately the third party's fault. But also, I believe if people are going to go after the third party, they should also keep the same energy for Nintendo when they're the ones that created those game key cards in the first place. I passed my turn.
All right. So with regards to that, the very first thing is we still have not confirmed whether or not that there are only 64 gig cards available. I know that I've opened Mario Kart World Cartridge 2, and for whatever reason that game that's 20 to 30 gigs or whatever is on a 64 gig card. Still don't know what's going on with that. Not sure if that's a thing or not, or that confirms whether or not there's only a 64 gig card, or there may just not be a 32 gig one. There's no way to really know. In addition to that, I would say if we're going to pass the buck to Nintendo, the question is why did Nintendo create the game key cards then? If it's not for third party, Why did they create them? And why isn't Nintendo publishing any games on game key cards if that's the case? That would be my counterpoint to that.
Well, my guess is the reason why Nintendo created those game key cards was to try to appeal to a lot of those third-party people. But it doesn't matter if Nintendo uses a game key card or not, or puts it on 64 gig. That's the bare minimum for Nintendo to put their own game on a physical cartridge. So I'm not going to applaud Nintendo for doing the bare minimum.
That's understandable. But what you just did though was concede my point. If they did it to appeal to third parties, why are they doing it to appeal to third parties? And I think you kind of know where this is going.
I can barely understand what you just said.
Why did Nintendo create game key cards to appeal to third parties?
I already said that they gave it to them to try to make them happy, but they didn't have to. They could have said no.
Why would that make them happy? Let's continue.
Oh, because the third parties want to be cheap and put them on those game key cards.
Boom. So here we sit. This is the origin of the problem. Right? So Nintendo is at fault for a problem that originates with who?
Say again?
I just want everybody to say it out loud if they can. It's third party.
I can barely understand what you said.
Nintendo did not create the problem.
Nintendo did not create the problem. It was third party that created the problem.
Well, technically, Nintendo created the problem because they're the ones that create it. Regardless whether the third party wanted them or not, Nintendo had the ultimate say when it came to those game key cards. They could have said no. I passed my turn.
With the game key cards being right? One game is Street Fighter 6. That game could fit on a 64 gig cartridge. So I don't really think it's about the availability of the sizes.
Okay, with Street Fighter 6, that is ultimately Capcom's fault. They could have put the base game on that 64 gig cartridge and then did some type of code or something for the season passes. They obviously couldn't put both season passes and the base game on the cartridge itself. It's too big. But no, in that situation, yes. But if you look at like Bravely Default, that situation is ultimately Nintendo's fault because they didn't give an option for a different size cartridge. And also, you got to look at the Tetris one on top of that because that game has such a small data too. They don't need a 64 gigabyte cartridge for those.
I feel like I need to rebut that point again because you're stating that as if it's fact. We do not know if Nintendo only has a 64 gigabyte cartridge. You reiterated that twice as if it was fact. We do not know that. That is rumors that spread around and we have not confirmed that. So we can't assume that as a premise.
Well, until Nintendo comes out and says that there are different sizes, or if someone comes out and says and shows proof, my opinion is still going to stand that there's only a game key card and a 64 gigabyte cartridge.
Now, you know that's an argument for ignorance, right? That's a fallacy.
No, it's not.
You can't say absence of evidence is evidence of absence. You can't do that.
No, because to my knowledge, there is only a 64 gigabyte cartridge and there is only a game key card. So unless there's more evidence to come out and show, my opinion is still going to stand where it stands. There's only a 64 gig or there's a game key card. Now, unless you have other evidence to support that there is other size cartridges, then my opinion is going to stay the same.
You're doing it again. If you're making the claim that there are only 64 gigabyte cartridges, then you have to prove that. A statement from Nintendo or somewhere or from at this point Macron saying that is all that we produce. We know that isn't true and that statement doesn't exist.
So far to my knowledge,
your knowledge, but you cannot state that as a fact. You can't make that into a premise.
Do you have any proof that there are other size cartridges besides the 64 gig or the game key card?
Other than the evidence that the manufacturers are still the same? No. But I don't have to because you're the one making the claim that that's all they have.
To my knowledge, there's only a 64 gig and there's only a game key card. So unless there's other evidence to support that there's not, my opinion is still going to stand the same.
Again, that's an argument from ignorance. You can't do that.
Absolutely not.
I've never seen what an astronaut does on the international space station. I've never seen what they do up there. I have to take their word for it. Right?
Yeah.
But at the same point in time, I can't sit here and say that what they do doesn't exist because I haven't seen it myself.
Okay, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt when they sit there and talk about the space station. Unless there's more evidence to support that there is a reason for me not to believe them.
There's a thing about empirical evidence, right? So the empirical evidence that we have right now, we know there's a 64 gigabyte card. We know that there's something, so many kilobytes of a game key card, right? We know that because we physically have them in our hands. We see them. We know that there's a 64 gig dual card, which prompts the switch to download extra data for the Switch 2 version of the game, right? We know that exists. We know that dual cards exist that also work on Switch 1. We know those exist. Those different models, four different models of cards that exist that are made either by Lapis or Macron from the data that we understand. For what? Everything that we've heard about, every outlet that says there's only 64 gigabytes or whatever, they're based on rumors, though. None of it has been confirmed. None of it, nobody's talked to a manufacturer about it. And it definitely isn't from somebody looking at, I don't know, run cards and saying that's all they have. That hasn't happened. But you can clearly look and see what a 64 gigabyte card looks like if you open one up. So we can't just go by a rumor and say, well, that's my knowledge, and therefore I'm just going to say this is the problem. So I really, that's your opinion. That's fine. You can't empirically add that in a statement.
Well, if they have other size cartridges, let's say just for an argument's sake, if they have like a 32 gig or a 30 gig, and a company's coming out with a game that is that size, and they choose to put it on a game key card, then I will believe that it is the third party's fault over Nintendo. But there is no proof at all that there are other size cartridges other than a 64 gig or a game key card. To our knowledge, we know that there is a 64 gigabyte and a game key card. If there are other size cartridges, then Nintendo needs to come out and say it.
Okay. I hear you on that. I hear you on that. But please understand that there's still a fallacy, though.
Not at all.
For the reason it's not suggested. Just because you don't have the information doesn't mean that what you're saying is true.
I'm basing my opinion based upon the information at hand.
And that's fine. But just know that is a reality. Because if Nintendo comes out with that information, you'll concede and say whatever. But the entire time, that premise was false. You just waited until Nintendo proved wrong.
My opinions are willing to change based upon new information coming forward. If I turned out I was wrong, I'm not afraid to admit it.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just telling you that is a lot of fallacies based on that. That you can't make that leap because you have lack of information. That's exactly what happened with Digital Foundry. They were assuming things didn't have DLSS until they were proven wrong.
Well, I don't know about Digital Foundry.
I don't know either. That's a whole other story, the whole conversation. I'm gonna keep it on the line here. But that's my whole sticker about the 64 gigabyte card thing. We can't really blame it on them if we don't have the information to suggest that. Like if they did have 64 gigabyte cards, still don't know. Maybe you would be right about blaming Nintendo and not giving them enough options and stuff like that. But we don't know. And we also know that if third parties are given the option to fit their game on the 64 gigabyte card, they still don't want to do it because Capcom did. They're a very third party, and they did not do it for Street Fighter 6. They did not. I mean, the game key card still works well, but no, that could have been all on one card. It most definitely could have been. So even when the third parties do what they're supposed to do, could do what they're supposed to do, they still don't. So I don't even know how you could. I don't know. All you have to do is look at the list of games on Switch that have downloadable content required on those cases. And look at some of these other games that got ported, and they were only on 8 gigabyte cards, and it was like a 32 gig game, but they compressed everything to hell and back. Like these publishers don't want to spend money on these cards at all. They just don't want to do it. They want everything digital because it's kind of free to them. So that's what Nintendo was doing. They were trying to aim towards that and saying, hey, share costs with us on our server, and you can download the game there. I would not fault them for that. Because all they were trying to do is increase their retail space. They still got to pay for it. Why would they want empty shells or just stuff to just 9 million Mario Kart worlds lining up the shelf space? So I guess if you think about it from that aspect, it makes a lot more sense as far as their decision and why they chose to do what they did. Because if Nintendo said, hey, put all your games on a card or don't publish with us, the games won't show up at all. Then whose fault is it? They were blaming Nintendo again.
Okay, so when it comes to Street Fighter 6, it's absolutely Capcom's fault. That one's not Nintendo's fault. They could have used that 64 gig cartridge, they chose not to. But when it comes to games that are the smaller games like Bravely Default, Tetris, those are Nintendo's fault because the only options that we know of at this moment is a game key card and a 64 gig cartridge.
Who published Bravely Default?
Square Enix, I believe.
Square Enix, when they had the opportunity to use the right size of card on Switch for let's say any of the Final Fantasy games, really. Final Fantasy 7 and 8, I believe, were on a dual card. How did that work out?
I'm guessing that they used the game key cards, or I'm guessing they used a smaller size, correct?
Only Final Fantasy 7 is on that cartridge. Well, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, if they had the option to use the actual right-size cartridge and they chose not to because they wanted to be cheaper, then that's Square Enix's fault. But it doesn't matter what they did on the Switch 1. You know, the Switch 1 didn't have major third-party AAA titles. Doesn't mean Nintendo shouldn't be trying to go after those major AAA third-party titles. So they still should sit there and try to give different-sized cartridges. Now, if the third party choose not to use them, then that's the third party's fault on that one and not Nintendo's.
I'm saying there, if that was the case on Switch for two ports of old PS2 games, right? They didn't want to spend for the extra space for those two games. The entire second game, 10-2, you had to download the entire game. If they didn't want to spend the money then, you know they don't want to spend the money now.
Okay, well, and when it comes to Switch 1, that's completely irrelevant. We're in a new generation. Nintendo should still give them the option to do it. And if they choose not to do it, then yeah, we need to blast the third-party people for that. But right now, as of my knowledge, Nintendo only has two options at the moment, so Nintendo's going to get some fault for it.
We don't know if they only have two options. You're doing that again. We don't know. And I would say at this point, I would not be surprised if Nintendo did have options to say like a 4 to 16 gigabyte cartridge. Square Enix probably still would have done what they did.
And if that is true, I will blame Square Enix for that one.
But the whole thing is we still really don't know. So you can't.
That's Nintendo's fault then.
We don't know if it's Nintendo's fault because the reason that you're using to blame them, we don't have all the information for that yet.
If Nintendo chooses to not tell us that there are other size cartridges, then that is Nintendo's fault.
I wouldn't know how to tell you. That's between them and the publishing partner. The publishing partner knows they're signed under NDA. So we have no idea what's really going on.
Well, it doesn't matter that we know, because with the Switch 1, we knew that there were different size cartridges on the Switch 1. So why did we know with the Switch 1? With the Switch 2, you know, if they're going to have different size cartridges and they don't tell us, of course we're going to blame Nintendo if they only give them two options to our knowledge at this moment. But like I keep saying, if there are different size cartridges and Nintendo comes out and says it, or there's proof to back it up, I will change my opinion on it.
When did Nintendo ever state what size the cartridges were on Switch 1?
It was stated that there were 64 gig cartridges and game key cards. That's pretty common knowledge.
They never did 64 gig. 32 was the highest.
Say again?
And 32 was the highest. And
Yeah, I know
they
32
didn't
size.
state that. Nintendo never stated that.
Okay.
Gaming Press stated that.
Okay, but did it make it untrue? Was there a 32 gigabyte cartridge? 32 gigabyte cartridge?
Yes, there was. And Macronix made a statement after the game was published. It was Witcher 3 and there was another game. It was a Dragon Quest game. So we got it from the actual manufacturer that makes the cards for Nintendo.
Okay.
As of right now, we've heard nothing. And that was only from one size. There's about 7 different sizes of Switch cards. Nobody confirmed 1 gig, 2 gig. Nintendo never made statements about this. 4 gig, 8 gig, 16. Nintendo never made statements about that.
Well, when it comes to the Switch 2, we don't know of any other size cartridges. No one's came out and said it. To our knowledge, there's only a 64 gig and a game key card. So unless there is other information that comes out, my opinion will stay the same when it comes to the 64 gig and it comes down to the game key card. If companies have too small of a game to put on a 64 gig and they choose a game key card, that is ultimately Nintendo's fault.
How would you even know? You didn't know during Switch. I just told you how they gave information for the 32 gig card. I could be a little bit wrong in that detail, but I'm pretty sure Nintendo didn't make that announcement. Macronix did, and the actual publisher that did the 32 gig game. I know CD Projekt Red talked about it at one point during their postmortem. But Nintendo never came out with that information. So they really didn't come out with what's here now. That's people opening their own cards and telling you what's inside of them. So
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that you were correct about the whole Switch 1 part, because I don't know who gave out the information either. But we know that right now, when it comes to the Switch 2, there are 2 different cartridges at this very moment. If there are other sizes, then if there's more information that comes out, I will change my opinion. I will sit there and say that it's a third party's fault and not Nintendo's. But as of right now, we only know of 2 sizes at this very moment.
And so why would you Nintendo on that with the absence of evidence?
Well, it's not my fault if there's absence of evidence. No evidence has been permitted so far.
Okay. So the default is to Nintendo?
If there's only 2 options out there, and you have a small game like Tetris that is too small for a 64 gig, and if there's only 2 options, then the game and they choose a game key card, that is Nintendo's fault for not giving them another option.
But you said if. So if. But we can't prove if.
You can't prove that there's other size cartridges.
That's an argument from ignorance. You're making the claim. You are solidly making the claim that there's only 2 sizes of cards right now. You do not have definitive information that is true. And you're using that to base who should be blamed right now. Are you not understanding? I've been explaining this for like the last 20 minutes now. You're not understanding the leap there?
I understand you clearly. But
you can't get the B without resolving A first.
At this very moment, to our knowledge, there's only 2 size cartridges.
Okay. And therefore you can't jump to your conclusion because you don't have enough information to say that it's Nintendo's fault.
Of course I can jump to my conclusion. It's my opinion.
Okay. So your opinion is lack of evidence is evidence of absence.
If there's lack of evidence, then that's who's ever fault for not saying it. No one's came out and said that there were other size cartridges. There's only been 2 so far.
I just told you Nintendo never announced any other size for the original Switch.
It don't matter. At this very moment, there's only 2 cartridges at this very moment that have been announced. We only know of the 64 gig and the game key card.
Nobody knows either. Nintendo just told you what the game key cards were. They didn't tell you what size the ROM was on the inside, whatever the little blue loader thing is. They never told you that. They never gave you any specifications on that.
Well, I don't know what size the game key card is exactly. Obviously, it has to be smaller than the Tetris game because they're putting on there, or they're supposed to.
I'm saying there was no formal announcement on any of that. So there's nothing to really base on, and there wasn't a formal announcement of any of the cards for the Switch 1 either.
Well, we know that there's a 64 gig, and we know that there's a game key card. If there are in-between sizes, that information is missing. None of us know about it.
Who is we?
Say again. When I say we, I'm saying all of us. It is very common knowledge there's a 64 gig cartridge and a game key card. Cyberpunk CD Projekt Red said they put their game on a 64 gig cartridge.
So did Nintendo make that statement, or CD Projekt Red made that statement?
Well, unless there's more information to support that CD Projekt Red was wrong, to our knowledge, there is only a 64 gig and a game key card.
I don't think you know where I'm going here. I'm not saying that to say that CD Projekt Red is wrong. They confirmed the size of the 32 gigabyte card for The Witcher. For The Witcher 3 on Switch 1. What I'm saying is Nintendo never announced those sizes at all.
Okay, well, I can't do nothing with a maybe here. You're sitting there saying that there might be other sizes. There's no proof to back it up.
I am saying that the information that you're baking in as a premise in your statement to come up with the opinion that you have is your opinion in the first place.
Yeah, in my opinion, will still stand.
I'm sorry?
My opinion still stands. There, according to my knowledge, there's only a 64 gig and a game key card. If the game is big enough for the 64 gig and they choose not to, then it is the third party. If it's a 20 gig game and all they have is an option between the 64 gig and a game key card, and they choose that game key card, that is also Nintendo's fault for not giving them a different option.
But you don't know.
Neither do you. None of us know.
You get my point though? But I'm not saying
your point makes no sense.
But my point is we don't know.
None of us know.
My point is disproven. My point isn't disproven. Your point is you don't have
no, absolutely not. My point is not disproven.
You don't have enough evidence to make it.
You don't have enough evidence to make your point. You're sitting there saying based upon a maybe.
My point is we don't know. So of course my opinion is correct. We don't know. We don't have enough information.
Of course, and if you have other information, gladly, I will gladly accept it.
The whole point is I don't, which makes my opinion accurate.
Yeah, and with my opinion, to our knowledge right now, the information at hand, we know of a 64 gig and a game key card.
With the information at hand. From where?
I've already told you. CD Projekt Red came out and said that they put it on a 64 gig cartridge.
CD Projekt Red, right? So,
yep, just like I
said that there's just 64 gig.
I never said that there were just. I said that to our knowledge, we only know of a 64 gig and a game key card.
So based on the only information that you got confirmed, that's what you're going to go on, and that's the conclusion you're going to draw.
That is the only information anybody can go off of. No one can go off any other information. There is no other information.
Sounds like we are at a perfect impasse. Which is good. So we have hit our two questions. We're gonna get into some of the juicy good stuff. Because now it is time for the questions from the audience. If you have a question, I know Prime is streaming on his channel. I can't look like down and up at the same time. So if you have a question, shoot over to the Sandstorm channel real quick. Throw your question out. Both our guests will have the time to be able to answer on how they feel about each question. So, starting off, I know there's going to be some questions on the channel. Looks like we are quite active. Let's see.
Still want to anybody else, or is it just Vigilante?
I haven't heard an echo from either one of you guys.
Okay. I didn't
Okay. I'm gonna have to write the second one down. Prime asked the first question. Shout outs to Nintendo Prime. He says, why is Nintendo anti-consumer with Switch 2? Or why not?
I'm assuming those questions directed at me.
They're actually for both of you guys. So you both will answer.
You can go first, Shadow.
Why is Nintendo anti-consumer Switch 2?
Or why not?
I'll make cases for both. I'll say they're anti-consumer right now because I mean we need a couple more games to play. That'll be nice. But they're coming soon. There's a couple coming through. And there's for them not being anti-consumer. I mean several reasons, obviously. I'm not saying anti-consumer part. Well, I won't say anti-consumer because streamers and other people trying to make money off Nintendo's IP are not consumers. Those are the people that complain a lot. But for Nintendo not being anti-consumer, I mean, my biggest case for that is they give the gamers what they want. If you want the game, you buy it. It's no response based on what you buy. And it obviously works because they keep they're the only people that have evergreen titles. Like no other publisher really knows what that is. But Nintendo keeps their value high on games for a long time, obviously, because people still want to buy them at their price. And there were a couple times when they did have a little down. They had the select or whatever $20 on platforms. But that hasn't really happened that much. Usually they keep their value throughout every generation, going back to the NES. So obviously they have demand for their product because their IP has value. So I would say that's pro-consumer.
Are you done?
Yes, sir.
All right, I will say that Nintendo is anti-consumer because they're overcharging games like Mario Kart World. And instead of giving you a packing title that's a tech demo for your console, they're sitting here overcharging you for that. Now, for it being non-anti-consumer, I guess I would say with the Drag X Drive, they're only charging $20 instead of $40 or $50 like a bunch of us thought it was going to be. I'm done.
Yeah, I will say I did think Dragon Drive was going to be at least $40. How much I will say. As far as Mario Kart World being $80, how much did you pay for Mario Kart World?
I didn't buy it.
You didn't buy it?
Nope.
So what's the complaint then?
Doesn't matter if I buy it or not. It's still overpriced.
Based on what?
No game should ever be at $80.
Based on what?
My opinion.
Your opinion.
Yes, in most people's opinion.
No, not in most people's opinion because
they're the most.
I don't want to get personal here. I'm just going to assume that you're above the age of 30.
Yep.
Am I correct? Okay. So I'm pretty sure you don't have to go research. You know that games used to be priced based on ROM costs, right?
They used to be priced on what?
ROM costs? Do you remember those days?
No, I do not.
Okay, so $200 Neo Geo cartridges, you don't remember any of that?
No, I do not. And I would say it's overpriced.
So back then, it wasn't overpriced because it was actually priced based on how much ROM was on the cartridge back then. And ROM was expensive. And it actually kind of still is right now. And that's the majority of what you're paying for on the cartridge right now. Mass ROM is not cheap.
Yeah, I do not believe that they charged Mario Kart World at $80 because it cost that much to make. I believe that they sat there and charged it because they knew they can get away with it.
Just in your opinion, just float it out here. How much do you think one 64 gigabyte card costs to print?
If I remember correctly, it's $16.
If you remember correctly from where?
I believe I heard that from Nintendo Prime.
From what?
I believe I heard that from Nintendo Prime.
From Nintendo Prime. Yeah. Okay. So anywhere between, and this is based on. This is based on math prices from Macromex based on per penny, right? So if they're, it could be anywhere between $15 to $20, depending on how much they're charging per megabit per pin, and it depends on how wide each set of pins are. So. And the last time I did the math on this was a long time ago. But Macronex is charging anywhere between 10 to $12 for the original Switch carts back in the day. Up to 32 gigs. So you end up paying a hefty amount for each cart being printed. Now on top of that, you have publishing costs to the console manufacturer, and you have to buy them all in bulk. And you have to pay for the retailer because you're paying brick and mortar to put it there. And I don't know what their percentages are to put in the store. But at some point, you're not making that much of a profit. So that's why back then, anyway, you had a 32 megabit cartridge back in the day, or 64 megabit cartridge back in the day. They were anywhere between $60 to $90. Because that's literally how much it costs them. They pass the savings on to you because they could not afford to pocket the difference. That is probably still going to be the case for a lot of Switch 2 cartridges going forward, just like it was for Switch. And I know. I'll put it this way. I agree with you on you saying that a lot of these games shouldn't be this expensive. It was just funny to me because I didn't hear any of this smoke when games magically jumped from 50 to 60, or when they jumped from 60 to 70. I don't know if that's because Nintendo didn't start or what, but those games jumped to that price, and it wasn't even warranted because they were on disc at the time, and disc cost pennies to print. So it's a completely different avenue we're talking about at this point. So I'm wondering why. You know, I would say that you should probably reevaluate that based on cost alone. And yeah, sure, Nintendo's a company or whatever, but they're also a first-party publisher, and they're also a third-party licensor too, and they can't go broke doing the third-party publisher's job. The third-party publisher should pay for whatever goes on, so they should be paying for all those costs associated as well.
Okay, well, I will never believe that Mario Kart World, unless Nintendo comes out with the exact amount, how much it costs to make, which we all know, they're never going to sit there and tell us how much it costs to make Mario Kart World. I do not believe that they need to charge that game at $80 to make a profit. I believe they could charge it at 70 or 60 and still make plenty of profit. Now, when it comes to games going to 50 to 60, 70, you know, like, or 60 to 70, I didn't have a YouTube channel at that time, so I couldn't really speak about that. And I don't really remember when games went from 60 to 70.
You can speak about it now, right here. How do you feel about it?
Well, I don't remember when they went from 50 to 60, but when they went from 60 to 70, there are plenty of games out right now I don't think they should be at $70.
Okay. When it first went to 70, how did you feel about it?
I don't remember it. I had a Switch at the time. I was playing only on the Switch. I didn't notice that they went up to 70.
So I would say this. For those other platforms, they didn't really have an excuse. I'm not really giving Nintendo an excuse because they're a billion-dollar company, but at the same point in time, I understand. Because they're literally producing them at cost. Sony and Microsoft are especially Sony, they have a foundry to print their own Blu-rays. And you're paying 100 gigabytes, third parties buying them and still not using the whole disc.
Yeah, and when Sony decides to release a game at 80, I'm going to blast them for that too. I blasted Microsoft for doing it for Outer Worlds too. I didn't like that they're going to release that game at $80.
So if Mario Kart World and you don't like this $80, right? It's not just available at $80.
Say again.
It's not just available at $80. So isn't that a solution?
Yeah, I don't care about the bundle because when you buy the bundle, the price, or not the price, but sorry, I keep hearing echoing. But when you buy the bundle, the total sale is still going to be included with the Mario Kart World if you buy it physical. So it doesn't matter. It's still going to show like how many Mario Kart World sold is going to be included together.
But what do you mean? I'm saying if you bought a digital bundle, you're not buying it for $80. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and it's completely irrelevant because it's still going to sit there and include the sales all together. There are going to be other companies that are going to look at Mario Kart World going forward like, oh, well, this one sold this well. That means we can raise them up to 80, which I don't think we should.
Is that how you think publishers do this? You know they have project management, right? They plan this out way ahead of time. They don't look at what Nintendo is doing. They've already planned what they're going to do to Switch 2. You're aware of that, right?
Well, if Nintendo was the first one to ever release an $80 game in this modern time, then I'm going to blame them for it. They're the ones that first did it, and I'm going to believe that other people are going to look at that and be like, oh, well, we can also raise our games to $80 also. Because that's what's going to happen now.
The Outer Worlds is already planned to be $80.
Do you have any proof that it was supposed to be $80 before Mario Kart World came out?
Yeah. They can't do that last minute. MSRP changes go through project management. That is hellified scope creep. There's no way any corporation would have a team of people. Well, the project management would definitely be fired. The hell in back. They made those kind of sweeping changes last minute. So they're not looking at look at Mario Kart World to change our price. That's not happening. You talking about global corporations right now? That's not how that works. That was planned months, maybe years in advance.
Okay, well, unless you have any proof, what you're sounding sounds nice, but you got no proof to back it up. All I know is that Elder Worlds 2 came out with that price, or Microsoft came out with price of Elder Worlds 2 after Nintendo did. So you could sit there and say, oh, well, they already had this plan. You got no proof to back it up.
So you really think a company? You really think a company that plans projects out for years at a time, right? That's financing too. All of that. They have entire teams dedicated to this and allocating financing funds, things like that, to figure out how they're going to produce the shelves, right? They will have to go back and tell each retailer that they pre-planned with that they're changing the SKU code and they're changing the MSRP on. They would have to go back and do all of that, and all that planning, they have to reverse all of that. And you're telling me that on a whim because they saw a Mario game on April the 2nd.
It is completely possible that they wanted to charge it $80, but again, we have no proof that they wanted to charge it before Nintendo did it. Now, I will perfectly agree that companies have been trying to raise price, or developers have been trying to raise prices on games for a long damn time, but unfortunately, Nintendo was the first one to do it, so Nintendo's going to get a lot of heat for it.
But should based on what I just said, should they get heat from it from you now that you know what I just told you?
I don't care what you just said, because you got no proof to back it up.
Whoa, so you're not believing what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying, but you got no proof to back it up.
You really think a corporation operates like that? They'll just, tonight, I'm just going to copy what Nintendo.
I'm not a corporation. I don't know how they think. All I know is that they like to think about being greedy. That's it.
Of course, they like greedy. The entire goal of a corporation is to incur profit. Sure. But how do they know how much profit they get if they don't plan it out? They don't know what backlash is will end up being. They have to do a whole bunch of planning and say, hey, look, if we do this or not, how much blowback are we going to get?
Can you say that again? I could barely hear you.
There's entire meetings planned around things like this. Global meetings planned around stuff like this. And they can't just switch up and say we're going from 70 to 80 without some type of workshopping. That's a big change to do last minute because they saw Nintendo do something. And I don't think a month is enough. Well, I guess at this point, 8 weeks. I don't think 8 weeks is enough time for them to make that big of a change.
Well, if you remember Dragon Age: The Belgard, they dropped that price real quick.
Dragon Age Belgard based on what are you talking about?
When it first came out, it was 70, and within a matter, I think it was like a month or two afterwards, they dropped the price very quick because of how terrible a game it was.
But that's normal. That's not the same concept we're talking about. We're talking about raising the price before launch.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does matter. MSRP is tracked once a product is released, and they drastically drop prices all the time. You know it. You look at PS4 and Sony games all the time. By the end of the year, they're about half price.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to agree to disagree on this one. I'm against $80 games. If you're perfectly fine with paying for $80 games, that's your choice. But I'm gonna still continue to stand here and fight against $80 games, no matter what.
But there's no need for you to fight against it because you can just buy the bundle for $50.
I don't care if you buy it for $50. I've already sat there and said if you buy the bundle and you buy the physical copy, it's going to go towards the total sale no matter what.
Why would you buy the bundle and buy the physical copy? If you buy the bundle, you don't need a physical copy.
I'm saying if you sit there and buy the bundle, and if you sit there and buy the physical copy, it's still going to count as a sale regardless for Mario Kart World.
Okay. So what's the problem with that?
Because it's going to show that Mario Kart World did so well at an $80 price. That's the way other companies are going to be looking at it. In my opinion.
So that's what you think. Okay.
Yep.
So if the game, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's even cheaper digitally. I'm not sure. I don't know what the official price is right now. Or let's see. What is it right now? Is it? Oh no, there's sites right now. Anyway, so if that's the case, right? And you're just assuming all of that. So any other game that's bundled, your goal is you want to protest. That's what that sounds like to me. And if you purchase the game in any way, shape, or form, it's not about whether or not it's $80 to you. It's how it looks to other people. Is that the gist? Is that the gist?
Say again. I can barely hear what you're trying to say.
Is the gist that you don't want an $80 game, or you want to send the signal that $80 games should be purchased? Because it sounds to me like number one, you didn't purchase the game at all, and number two, you can buy the game for $50 if you bought the bundle. So it's not about you per se wanting to buy $80 game or not. It's about how it looks.
I am a firm believer. I'm going to say this once again, and that's it. I am against any $80 game. No game is worthy of an $80 price. I will never buy an $80 game, regardless if they sit there and want to sell it in a bundle. If I go out and buy a Switch 2 right now, I promise you, I don't care if they give me Mario Kart World for free. I'm not going to take it. Well, okay, I might take it to get away for free, but I will not buy Mario Kart World, period. I will not pay for it because that is the way of Nintendo to sit here and charge an $80 game. No game is worthy of $80, period.
Wait, why would you take it for free?
Because it's a free game. It's not going to count as total sale for giving it to me for free anyways.
Hold on. But if it's a free game, it's counted sold.
It's already counted as sold for giving it away for free. I played my cousin's copy of Mario Kart World. Doesn't mean I count it as a total sale.
But if they gave you a free one, that is a SKU that got sold.
It's already given out for free anyways. It's not going to count as an extra sale anyways. It's already free. They're not going to give it out for free anyways.
No, if Nintendo gives you one out for free, it counts as a sale that they're comping. But it still counts as being sold, which means that Mario Kart World got sold. And the same thing that you're fear-mongering about, an $80 game like it's sold well, still happens.
It's already been given. It's already going to be counted as a sale period if they give it out for free. Nintendo's not going to give it out for free anyways. If you gave me a free copy, I would play it. How about that?
So why would you buy the bundle then? It's the same concept.
Well, number one, I'm not buying the bundle because I don't buy systems brand new, especially for Nintendo, because Nintendo doesn't deserve my money sitting here putting games at $80 in the first place.
That wasn't your original argument. You said if you bought the bundle, it would still be fulfilling the prophecy of the $80 game. So why would you take it for free then? Because the same concept would still apply. That $80 game would still like it's sold well because that comp system with the game that you got still counts. So why would you take it for free? You're against
because it's free. I didn't pay for it. And it's not going to count. It's already been counted towards a total sale anyways. That's like me sitting here taking a free game from someone else that they're like, here, you can just have for free. They already bought it anyways.
So does the $50 one. They already comped $30 when you buy it digitally with the system.
The $50 they're not giving it to you for free. You have to pay for that $50.
Yes. So what's the problem? Buy it for $50.
Because it's still going to count as that total sale anyways. If you, for instance, said, okay, here, I don't want to play Mario Kart World anymore, and you give it to me, I didn't pay for that. It's not going to count as an extra sale at that point anyway.
Nintendo gives it to you for free. I'm not talking about a person handing it to you that already paid for it. If Nintendo gives it to you for free, it creates the same problem as buying it as a $50 bundle.
Okay, fine. I will backtrack and say, Nintendo gives it to me for free. I will not sit there and take it. But if you give it to me for free, here, I'll take it. How about that? Is that better?
Thank you for being consistent. Yes. I'll take it.
And what about the welcome tour thing that I talked about?
About welcome tour.
When I said that it was anti-consumer to make us pay for it. When it should have been packed in.
I think that just like the cartridge situation, you don't have enough information to make that statement.
How do I have enough information to make a statement about welcome tour?
Because value is determined by the market, right?
I never said that it wasn't worthy of $10. What I'm saying it should have been a pack-in title. Says it's a tech demo for your console itself.
And you're saying it's not worth $10 then, or you're saying that Switch 2 should cost $460.
No. I think it should have been a pack-in title.
If you're saying Welcome Tour is worth $10, while at the same time saying it should have been a pack-in title, you're saying the Switch 2 should have been $460.
No, they can charge $450 and give it to you as a pack-in title. It's literally a tech demo for your console.
And you're saying it's not worth $10.
It should have been packed in, period. If it wasn't a tech demo and it was a different type of game, sure.
Is it just a tech demo?
Yes, it's just a tech demo pretty much. I haven't played it. I'm not going to play it. I refuse to play it.
It's more than a tech demo.
It is still a tech demo nonetheless.
I really just said it's more than a tech demo.
But you still acknowledge it's still a tech demo.
No, because it's more than a tech demo, it's not a tech demo.
If a tech demo is part of it, it still makes it a tech demo.
What? In Super Mario Odyssey is a tech demo. Because we use one of the levels there that's literally the stress that they use for Switch in production.
When you sit there and see a picture of Mario Odyssey, you don't see a controller of the Switch, people walking around on the Switch. When you see that welcome tour, they literally have a picture of people walking around on the Switch Joy-Con itself.
Okay, but that doesn't determine what a tech demo is. That's just how the game looks.
A rational person's going to look at that and think tech demo.
Well, we don't determine what a rational person is. That's an no Scott fallacy.
No, that's not. It's an opinion.
It's because you're calling me unrational.
I'm not calling you. I'm saying it's my opinion. The welcome tour looks like a tech demo.
That's not a good statement to make. You're saying a rational person would say, I'm disagreeing with that. So you're calling me unrational?
I guess.
Probably shouldn't do that.
I'm pretty certain earlier in the debate you said I was being disingenuous or something with my opinions. It was kind of hard to understand what you were saying.
Disingenuous is not weighing how much logic you have in a statement or saying that you're incapable of anything.
And you sit there and said I was disingenuous, so you're not going to like that I said that you're irrational?
Disingenuous is part of the logic. That's not talking about you as a person.
Yes, it is.
Oh. If I say the statement is disingenuous, that means it's leaving out information that's not clear. Not you being disingenuous to the person in the statement. And you could do that knowingly or unknowingly. A lot of the times it's not even up to you. It's not a personal attack. I'm saying the statement itself be fallacious because other people could be misled.
Sorry, something popped up. Can you repeat what you just said?
The entire point of this debate is the attack goes against the point, not against the person. So in me saying that a statement is disingenuous, i.e., not you, that statement is disingenuous. Other people can be confused, either intentionally by you or unintentionally by you. Because you cannot know what's happening, and it's still the thing.
Okay, well, your statement was being irrational. How about that?
My statement. Okay. I'll take that. That's fine. My statement was irrational, but it's more than a demo. I would say before you call it a tape demo, I would say it is a very detailed owner's manual.
Okay, so do you think we should pay for an owner's manual?
If you learn,
or do you think that an owner's manual should be included with the product?
What owner's manual comes with any product these days?
Say again.
What owner's manual comes with any product these days? You can open any game and let me know.
With a game?
What?
So is that what? Sorry, your echo is hard to understand you.
What owner's manual comes with any product? Sandstorm, can you relate it, please?
Sandstorm, can you repeat that?
Yeah, he said what owner's manual comes with the product these days.
Well, my car came with an owner's manual when I bought it.
He was specifically referring to games.
Well, the game is a owner manual to the console itself. I don't believe we should have to pay for an owner's manual. I believe it should have been a pack-in.
Games used to come with manuals and they don't anymore.
I don't care. It should have been a pack-in, period. I'm not going to sit here and justify for Nintendo that it's okay for them to charge $10 for it.
Have you played Welcome Tour?
No, I refuse to. Out of principle.
So you don't know what you're missing.
I don't need to know what I'm missing. That game should have been a pack-in title.
Based on what though? Just on you looking at it?
I've already explained.
I don't think so. Because you basically what you're saying is you don't know enough about it.
No, I know plenty enough. I know enough about it to know that it's just a tech demo.
What do you know?
I've already explained.
You just said
we're going to continue to go around in circles over and over again. There's no point. This is pointless at this point.
The logic is circular on your end because you won't be specific.
I've already been specific.
We know why you won't be specific because you don't have any experience with the game. There's nothing to really talk about.
I don't need to have experience to know what it is. I've already explained it.
You kind of do.
No, you do not. You don't need to sit. You didn't need to play Cyberpunk 2077 at launch to know it was broken.
Well, the people determine the value of that game over time anyway, from the people that did play it.
At first, that game wasn't worth anything because it was broken.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We see it. Welcome to it, still $10.
Say again.
And it's up there on eShop. Welcome to it, still $10. And it's up there on eShop.
Okay, I still don't agree with it. It should have been packing.
I mean, sounds like you're a minority.
I didn't hear what you said. Say again.
And I will say this. Noise on the internet is the vocal minority. Majority of the time. That's a great pun, but.
Sandstorm, can you repeat what you said?
He said that noise on the internet is the vocal minority.
Okay, it could be the vocal minority regardless. I'm still going to stand up and fight.
Or were you fighting?
I've been perfectly clear. I am fighting against anti-consumership.
What's anti-consumer? Define anti-consumer.
I've already explained it. We're going to go around in circles.
You never define anti-consumer. At no point.
I have already explained why Nintendo is anti-consumer. Can we go on with the next question, please, Sandstorm?
Define anti-consumer.
I'm not going to define anything. I already explained why Nintendo is anti-consumer.
You not know what anti-consumer means?
I've already explained why Nintendo is anti-consumer.
Oh man, don't get triggered, man.
I'm not triggered. I'm just tired of going around in circles. It's not going to end. All we're going to do is go around in circles. And I don't want this to be a 2.5 hour debate. We still got 9 more questions to get through.
If you answer my question, it'll be over pretty quick.
No. Because I already can tell it's going to go around in circles. Sandstorm, can we please get on to the next question?
You tell me what answer means. I'm like, oh, great. That's a great definition.
I've already stated what I had to say. I'm not going to sit here and keep going around in circles over and over again.
All right. Well,
so just for the chat, real quick, I want to clear up. People need to hear this. When people make declarative statements and you ask what the declarative statement is and what it means, and they can't get to it, that's the whole point. He never wanted you to get to it. They just wanted to do the complaint. And it's not just Vigilante. I see this a lot. This is basically Twitter vocalized right here. The whole point is to start the trolling, engage in the trolling, and start the loop. And if you actually want to get some type of understanding, that's never going to happen because you're never supposed to understand. Continue.
All right. So the next question actually comes from Andre. Shout out to Andre, the Game Idea guy. Have you? Oh, that's not the question. Your question was further up, Andre. My apologies. This stuff moves so fast. You were right after Prime. And I appreciate all the questions. Thank you guys so much for your patience. It was before Risky came in here, so that must be the question. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. Great point, Andre, but that was not your question either. Man, I should have had my moderators. Moderators helped me out on this one.
You just go to the chat?
Yeah. And it might just be so old that I can't even see it now. Because it would have been before.
They add you, or did they just put?
It would have been Andre, and it was right after Prime's question. I had started to write it down, and then I forgot. So while we're looking for Andre's question, did anybody else have a question in the chat? I see everybody going about the $80 games, about add-ons, Risky in here. I'm a serious person. Are you a leafy clone? That's funny. You don't see it either, do you?
I don't see any. I don't see a question from him. I don't hear. I don't. I'm looking at the live chat, so I don't know if it's scrolled past.
Yeah, I might have scrolled past it. For Wilton asked the question, why do people feel like it's okay to... Oh, thank you, Wilton, so much. Thank you. That was the question. Thank you. Shout out to Wilton 969. Appreciate you, bro. Why do people feel like it's okay to pirate Nintendo games while stating that they don't like Nintendo games? What do you think is the reasoning for that?
Can you repeat the question again?
Yeah. Why do people feel like it's okay to pirate Nintendo games while stating they don't like Nintendo games? What do you think the reasoning is for that?
Okay, I'll go first. if someone is stating that they don't like Nintendo games, but they're also pirating and playing the games, they're probably wrong about that. They obviously love them if they're going to pirate them and play them. I don't know too many people that sit here and play a game and don't actually enjoy it. They can sit here and play a game and end up not liking it, but I don't know of people that go into a game saying, "Oh, I'm not going to enjoy it," and then play it anyways. Don't know too many people like that. So that's the best way I can answer that question.
All right, shout out.
Totally agree. That's exactly my take. That's 100% my take.
Okay. Me and Shadow can agree on things.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a triggering question. I'll answer it anyway, or ask it anyway. Vigilante, and you can answer how you want to answer. Question: Vigilante said he's going to buy a Switch 2 after playing his cousins on Gamer's video. Doesn't that mean you betray your entire audience and stances on everything Switch 2?
No, absolutely not, because I've never told people to not go out and buy a Switch 2. I've always told people if you're going to buy one, go get one pre-owned. Now, if I was to go buy Mario Kart World, yes, that would make me a hypocrite, because I've always said do not buy Mario Kart World, and we need to boycott that game.
Okay. We got another question. Exodia says, does the gaming industry need... I'm going to assume that's communism?
Yep. That's what they're trying to say. Yeah.
Okay. Does the gaming industry need some communism?
I don't really talk about political stuff, so I'm going to have to pass on that one.
I mean, it already happens. It just happens off the top. That's a story for another day. But I think Certain did say he found Andre's question.
Who found it?
Third time squared.
Right
under JB's comment.
Okay. Let me see. Sorry, my apologies.
You're okay.
Lion Star says, my apologies. Lion Star says, so my question is, why can't we have a choice to pay for the expensive cartridge so the third parties don't have to?
Are you talking about what some people are calling a Switch tax?
I don't know. I just read off the. I'll let Shadow go first with it. I'll ask it again. Why? My question is, why can't we have a choice to pay for the expensive cartridge so the third parties don't have to?
I think there's a company that's trying to do that. They're trying to be the middleman. Somebody put a tweet out a couple days ago saying they want to be the middleman, and they're asking like third parties to contact them or something. I think they're trying to be their own limited run or something like that. To where they somehow they're able to do Switch cartridge manufacturing. So they're willing to like publish with small studios and smaller publishers. I don't know what that is. I heard it on two or three YouTube videos. I haven't looked into the article myself, so but I heard that going around. I don't know exactly what that's supposed to be, but at the same point in time about paying so the third parties don't have to. Why are we trying to ban the third parties?
I'm confused too.
That would be my question to ask back.
I'm not.
I'm gonna have to agree with Shadow on that one. I don't really understand the question, to be honest.
Yeah, it was kind of sounding like, why do they have to pay for the cartridges? Why do the third parties have to pay for the cartridges that they put the games on? And make it sound like we have to pay for the cartridges? Almost sounds like why can't we pay even more money for all of it? Is what it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm already against that, so that's not gonna happen. You guys already know what my stance is. If I'm against $80 games, you know it's gonna be even worse than that.
We agree again. That's two. Let's keep going. With it.
They asked, what is a diffuse map?
A what? A what?
I have no clue. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that question out.
I'm surprised UCJ don't have a question.
But diffuse map? Oh, that's an interesting question.
Oh, Joycey?
That was a time ago.
Joycey asked on the Prime podcast, what kind of questions should she ask? She must be dual screening it.
Oh.
Yeah, probably.
We always know she has something to ask.
Let me see. I'm making sure there was no questions on primes that anybody didn't make it over for.
If y'all have more questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat now, I guess.
Yeah. Because we are at an hour and 50.
I was saying in my chat, there's only two people really commenting back and forth. I think you guys know who one of them is, and then they're not even asking questions.
Yeah, I can see on Restream, I can see everybody's chat.
Okay.
With the exception of Primes because he's not like directly connected.
Oh,
so,
okay, got you.
I
just found out who flipping the switches.
Lionstar kind of elaborated a little bit. He said, well, some of us are willing to pay for the cartridge if it's fully on the cartridge. That's the point of a physical game. If the third parties are being too cheap to pay for it. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I mean, I'll let y'all answer. I had my own opinions, but I'll let y'all answer. Basically, he's saying if it's going to cost that much anyway, I'm assuming, because of game key cards, why not just pay the extra money to them so they can put it on a physical cartridge?
Shadow, you can go first. I don't really know how to answer this.
I mean, it's basically the run thing, but you're doing it like I guess the publisher would have their own site or whatever. And if you wanted to buy a 64 gig card or whatever from them, and you buy it, you kind of like prepay it ahead of time, then they go and print the card or print a limited number of cards or whatever based on how many orders they have, and then they deliver them kind of like on demand kind of situation.
Oh, okay.
Like that is just and they just charge a premium for that. It may be $200 for a game, depending. But they just want it because they're a collector or whatever. I still see that happening. I still see some company doing that going forward. I don't think that'll be honest with you.
Okay, I'll concede with Shadow. And if there's no more questions, the host can ask us some questions too if you want.
Yeah, my questions are really limited. I just wanted to hear y'all talk. That's all.
Oh, okay.
There are a couple more questions here. Ty Schallenberger, NSO, good value or no? Oh, is NSO good value or no? Duh, that's okay. Okay, I appreciate you, Prime. I'm like, who? Yeah. So they asked, is NSO a good value or not?
Can you tell me how much it is? Because I don't know how much it costs. If I'm going to give it an opinion on it, I got to know what the price is.
Okay, so the base price, I believe, is $20 a year. That nets you the Game Boy, the NES, and the Super NES. And the $35 a year nets you those, plus the Game Boy Advance, the Sega Genesis, the N64, and the GameCube.
GameCube if you have Switch 2.
Yeah, if you have Switch 2.
So what's the highest price?
You get the $35 a year for a while.
Oh yes, and you get the all the DLCs on the original Switch, so Mario Kart 8, and the rest of those. And then on the Switch 2, you get Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and all the other past stuff as well.
Okay, so when you say all the DLCs, are you talking about every Switch game?
No, only
every Nintendo game. Most of the Nintendo published games.
Yeah.
How about Xenoblade?
It doesn't have DLC.
Oh, okay.
And the DLC that those games have is usually free anyway, and then they have the big DLC, which is like they'll have
a whole nother game for it.
A whole other game basically. And typically, like Torna was a separate release. Like it was $40 by itself as a separate game, which it should have been $10 game. But that's a whole other situation. But the last one they just did, which is Future Redeem, that was digital and it never got a physical release, and I'm kind of upset about this. But typically, Xenoblade games have DLC kind of baked in. It comes out every once in a while, like packs and stuff, and you get like little bonuses or whatever, little stuff like that. It's not real. I mean, I would consider it real DLC, but that's what they do with it.
Okay, yeah. So for $30 a year, I would agree it's a good deal. Better than what PlayStation gives you.
It's $7 both of them now, right?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it's $7 for both now. I can't remember last time. They just pillage my credit card every year.
But yeah, I mean, if it's that price, it could be up to $50 a year. I would think it's worth it.
Okay. Good. Okay, we're gonna have time for maybe 2 more. Joycey, you asked for a Joycey question, so I'm gonna give you a Joycey question.
Okay.
She said, if GTA drops at 100 for the standard edition, is it worth it? Why or why not?
No, it is not. No game is worth $100. Plain and simple. I don't know how to elaborate any differently than that.
You don't follow up on that, right? Is it worth $80?
Nope. No game is worth $80, but she asked it for $100.
Is it worth $70?
Maybe. I would have to play to find out. Just because a game looks good doesn't mean it's going to be worth it.
I'm glad you can say that. That's great. That's good to know. That's good to know.
Oh, I was wrong. I was wholeheartedly wrong. So, but you already said this, Vigilante, so I guess it doesn't matter. But Thunderstash corrected me. It's actually 50 a year now. But the last time I paid it was, it's actually 50 a year now. With
everything.
Yeah, for everything. So, I think my time is coming up soon, man. Okay, last question. I'm not asking a risky question. That's a waste of time. Sorry, Risky. You're gonna have to find somebody else to ask your question. That's a waste of time.
Good job in the chat, Risky. Good job in the chat.
How did Switch? Oh, okay. Somebody else from Prime's channel asked, how did Switch come around, and why did the consumers hate? Oh my gosh. This is a soapbox one. I already know. How did the Switch come around, and why did the consumers hate the Wii U?
Okay, I'll go first. I never had a Wii U, but I believe the reason why so many people probably hated the Wii U was because Nintendo did some poor marketing on it. It looked like more like when I first saw the Wii U, I thought it was like on the box, it was an accessory, to be honest. That's what I honestly thought. And maybe that's the reason why, but I never played it, so I can't really sit there and say why people hated playing it or not. And with the Switch, I think that the reason why the Switch came around is it was a very affordable price, and the graphics were good enough, and they had some amazing first-party titles like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Xenoblade. Those are probably the 2 best titles on the Switch, in my opinion.
All right, Shadow, you wanna?
Did you repeat the question? Repeat the question again? I didn't hear the last part.
Yeah, it's okay. I think this was something that you've probably talked about a million times, so it's in your alley. How did Switch come around, and why did the consumers hate the Wii U?
So basically, why did people end up liking the Switch, and why did they hate the Wii U? Is that the question?
Sounds about right.
Okay. So here's the thing. People hated the Wii U because people told them to hate the Wii U. You'll see all kind of videos about people like, I just got Wii U for the first time. It's actually a good system. It's actually all these people are doing this stuff after the fact. And it's not new. The same thing was happening with GameCube. That's why GameCube games cost so much right now because people are finally going back and collecting that system and finding out how good it was. But at the time, it was not popular to like that system. And there's a system in place where the Overton window is, do not like this console if we talk about it in a bad way. If you talk to your friends about it, they will laugh at you. These things actually happen. I've seen it in place. I've worked at retailers where I've seen it happen. I've seen grown men try to shame a kid come in because they wanted to buy a console. I've seen it happen. And that kind of thing went away with Switch because Nintendo did not trust Press and any other influencers or anything like that. All the marketing went directly on the YouTube video for everybody to see all the time. Everybody saw the same thing first. No press outlets got any first takes first. It was Nintendo showing the system and them doing their own direct showing how it worked. And they showed you all the games up front. With Wii U, they showed you that system for 2 years behind pay gates for E3 with different publishers and whatnot in 2011 and 2012. And both times they showed it, they got bashed the hell back by media. That's why people didn't like Wii U. That's why people didn't buy it. The people that didn't care, people like me that knew what it was or whatever, they still went out and bought it day one. That's why it sold out so quickly, even though it didn't sell that well in the end. It still sold out day one. Switch, there was no excuses anymore. There was no IGN, there was no GameSpot, there was nobody, there was no Advertiser saying, I can't tell if this is necessary or not. None of that was able to happen. They tried, they paid YouTubers and stuff to go out there and say, well, the Switch still has three storage, 2 gigs and whatnot. The same thing they were trying to say about Wii U, and like, no, you just put an SD card in and expand it. Just like you could have bought any USB hard drive on Wii U. All that stuff went out the window because people could see it, and they could see the lives they were, and it fell on deaf ears. So that's why Switch took off, and Wii U did not. It was almost to spite what had happened with Wii U. It's basically gave the entire industry a middle finger, and that's basically what happened. That's my take.
I'll concede with Shadow. I don't know too much about the Wii U, so I'm going to believe that he is saying the truth.
All right, fair enough. All right, guys, that's all the questions that we're going to take for now because we're at 2 hours and 2 minutes. I don't want to keep my guests longer than we already have. This was an epic battle. This was amazing. This is going to go down in history as one of the most funnest times, especially on this channel. Thank you guys so much for coming through. Thank you everybody who's watching. Thank you everybody who's watching on Prime's channel. Thank you everybody who is watching on Shadow as well as Angry Vigilante's channel as well. Before we get up out of here, Vigilante, go ahead and throw out your channel and everything.
Alrighty. My channel is the Angry Vigilante channel. I sit here and do reactions on Salty Fanboys. And so far for this debate, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a good time. I got no animosity towards Shadow or anything. I think he's a stand-up guy. He was very respectful. You know, we have a difference of opinion, and we're just going to have to leave it at that.
Awesome. And thank you once again for coming through. We really appreciate you. Not ever, I won't even say often, not ever have we ever had this actually happened on the channel. So it's great that you got to be the first person for us to actually have this kind of entertainment, man. Really appreciate you.
Oh, you're welcome, man. Hey, I enjoy doing this kind of stuff. I don't back down from challenges, so I have no problem with it.
All right, Shadow.
So the first thing I want to do is I want to apologize to the audience and the extended amount of people that are here. So I violated Rule 2. allow the other to speak without interruption, and I apologize for that. I'm just thinking back now. I think I did that at least 3 or 4 times, so I apologize if I did that, and I apologize to Vigilante for doing that too. And number three, neither of us could provide links, obviously, because of technical issues we're having right now. But that would have been good to do to go through and kind of look at certain things or whatever, and be able to pull up information. But we won't be able to provide that today, so I apologize for that. Other than that, yes, thank you for coming on and Vigilante. I had a good time. It was great. Great discussion. Had a lot of topics to talk about. Obviously, there's different opinions and stuff like that. There's some stuff that I just cannot. If you just say it's your opinion and based on it, there's no argument there for a lot of that stuff. So, I appreciate everybody coming out, supporting the homie Sandstorm here, supporting the channel. Make sure y'all. I don't know how y'all got here, but like, subscribe, do whatever you gotta do, whatever for it. Make sure you support this channel. And on the Winged Podcast, we're on every Sunday. And my channel been dead. My uploads come up whenever they come up. I've been working on stuff for a while, and just bear with me. I'm trying to get some stuff up for this unboxing, whatever it is. I don't know what it's going to be at this point by the time I update it, but you guys will see it. So just enjoy it, and Shadowcast around them. They'll happen whenever. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'll get into some promo again. We'll see.
Until then, it's going to be more shadow storms.
Yep. That's what it's looking right now.
All right. Thank you guys so much for coming through. We really appreciate you guys. If you liked the debate here. Oh, I guess we were about to leave before, and nobody was going to even say anything. What happened to the numbers?
Oh yeah, the poll. Yeah, what happened to the poll?
Numbers.
So we have the numbers here. I know on whose channel is this? Is this Prime's? Yeah, it's Prime's. So on Prime we have 83% Shadow to 17 Vigil, and on mine we have 80%. Okay, never mind. Okay, 80% Shadow to 20% Vigil. And I didn't do Twitter. So unfortunately, I did not get Twitter just because of the way that we had to stream this. I didn't need looking at all that extra stuff. So, yeah. So it was a very good match, very entertaining. I definitely felt like both of you guys had some really good points, some very strong points. And that's what it's all about. And at the end of the day, like Vigilante said, there was no animosity. It was a good, riveting conversation. The conversation moved forward. And it was just overall a healthy experience, fun experience to dive in with both of these guys. So once again, thank you guys so much, everybody on the Stormcast. Thank you guys so much, everybody on Vigilante's side, as well as Shadowfox side. Thank you guys so much on Nintendo Primes. We really appreciate it. Now I have to go back and actually listen to everything that Prom commentated about because I didn't catch any of it. So
I didn't either.
So I know, right? That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. So thank you guys. We will see you guys later. Peace.
Peace.
Bye, diffuse maps.